morning. This is George Tkaczuk with Know Your Options Inc. reporting to you from the CME Group trading floor in Chicago. What I'd like to do this morning is just go over what's going on in the general indexes. Basically, the market is directionless right now. We're still in this sort of cautious uptrend, but the market's having a hard time making further headway. If we go back and look what happened last week, Tuesday before the Fed decision, the markets had a really solid day, gaining some good ground with the NASDAQ, the S&P 500, each got above their 50-day moving average on really strong volume, confirming our uptrend. However, after the Fed decisions, the markets pretty much sold off. Volume came in on the S&P, however, it did increase on Thursday on the NASDAQ, so it added another day of selling pressure. Now, of course, the NASDAQ market is a little bit hostage to what's going on in Apple stock. As Apple goes, so does the NASDAQ. So let's take a look at some of the levels we're looking at here. The S&P 500 is still above its 50-day moving average, which is a pretty good sign, but it still hasn't been able to take out its highs right at about 1435. But on the plus side, we should continue to see support right here at about the 50-day average, about 1413. The next level of support would be the 1400 level. If it broke below 1387, that'd pretty much call off any uptrend that we're experiencing right now. The NASDAQ, on the other hand, is having a hard time getting back above the 3000 level. It dropped below there. It dropped below the 200-day moving average, right at 2988. And this morning, it's struggling back and forth there. And again, it's victim to whatever's going on in Apple. Now, the NYSE Composite Index is doing quite well. It's trying to take out its highs for the year. It keeps approaching that level. It's well above its 50-day moving average and doing pretty good. Now, one thing that's pretty interesting in this market is that the Russell 2000, which is measured of small cap stocks, is doing much better than the Russell 1000, which is more the large cap stocks. So that tells you that there is some risk coming back into this market when you see the smaller caps starting to outperform the large caps. So that's something to keep in the back of your mind. Now, in this market, when it's trendless, you think you'd want to maybe sell some premium, either put calls or either puts or calls. However, the problem here is we're hostage to the news coming out of Washington. And so the market can have a snapback rally to the upside, or it could collapse depending on what happens in Washington. So in this market going into the end of the year, you want to be light. We're a little bit weighed towards the long side, but you do want to be light because anything can happen now, and it's unfortunately the so-called headline risk. Now, you do want to keep an eye on the groups that I discussed in the previous segments that continue to do pretty well. It's pretty much near their highs. And that again goes back to home buildings. You have home builders like Ryland, MI Homes, Pulte Homes that are doing pretty good. Material stocks that support the home builders, Eagle Materials is one company. So you do want to keep an eye on some of these. Some of the larger construction companies are starting to do pretty well as well, Quanta Power. So you want to keep your eye on some of those. Now you want to also, the biotechs in the medical field, some of those are doing pretty good. You have Amgen, Biogen, Celgene, Regeneron, Gilead. So you want to keep your eye on some of those. In the machine space, you want to keep a look at those 3D printing companies. And in the financials, of course, you want to keep your eye on Visa, MasterCard, and some of the large banks are starting to do pretty good, like JP Morgan, Bank of America. So going into the new year, you want to tread lightly until we do get some confirmation out of Washington, and that should give us a clear direction as to which way this market can go going forward. So as always, let price and volume be your guide. This is George Tkaczuk with Know Your Options Inc., reporting you from the CME Group trading floor. And have a good trading days towards the end of the year. Thank you.